1932 Hut. What's up, Girl Scouts? How's everybody doing today? Is there anybody around here in the chat yet? We'll do a little BSing around here for a minute and let y'all get filed in and get sitting down and get your feet up and get you something to drink, something to eat. So let me see here, guys. Let me throw this chat up here so that I can see it because we do have some people in here. We got Bob's RC. We got Jason Earl. What's up, gentlemen? Shit, get out of the way. I hate that pop-up. Hey, you know me, Earl. I'm a little long-winded, and me and Joe was talking. Hey. Oh, oops. Did I just say who it was? I didn't tell nobody who it was. Ladies and gentlemen, all you RC fellers and ladies out there, won't you all welcome Mr. XO Cage himself, Mr. Joe Collins. How you doing, Joe?
What's up, buddy? How's it going, man?
Hey, buddy, it's doing good. I'm living the dream. Somebody else's nightmare, probably, but that's how it goes.
That's the way I see it sometimes
if I'm
too,
in
man.
It's got to be a nightmare, I mean, I just got this pretty face only mother could love, But how you been, bro? You been doing all right? Everything going good?
Doing good, busy. Had the Minnesota trip, did that.
Dude,
those
rocks were killer.
Dude, that was the best crawling weekend I've ever had. And I've done every USTE. I went for the Illuminati thing.
That was badass too.
I went and done all that stuff, and that was the best crawling weekend I've ever had. So did that, came back. I did Art Park with their Bash Crash Fest, I think it was.
Yeah, Wreck-It Fest, yeah.
Wreck-It Fest. I know it was one of those fests out there. And now I'm gearing up, trying to get some videos done, get some projects done. I'm hoping to get both of I finally got on the list, got two of the new homes, 2-in-1s ordered. I hope to get those here in time to get video work done, to get them into an executioner.
Dude, that's going to make that thing right there just
last
even more.
With 4S capability, with the Hobby Wing Fusions, no matter how you set them up, they are kind of soft on, slow down. His is a whole different setup, right? So it's going to be
or solo you out there so we can see a little better. There we go.
Oh man, I can see everything now.
Yeah, there you go.
When you but with that motor, I got a feeling it's going to have the pop, like instant pop, instant brake, all that control. As where the Fusion is super smooth, super controlled, everything. I think his is going to be a little bit more wilder. Mexico Cage has a sick camera. Is my camera bad?
No. Let's see here. Hold on.
I see Bubba RC. I'm using my computer and not my typical phone for camera, so that might be why it's not very good.
Oh, okay. Hi, Donna. How Woods Unknown. How is everybody? But you look fine there. It doesn't look like your normal lives. You can tell that you are using a different camera, but it's not as bad as mine. I mean, I've got this old, I don't even remember what this thing is, this laptop. It's from like...
I'd like to start using my computer for this. If I did, I'll actually pick up an actual legit camera for it, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you what, Ice Fox, it's a GoPro clone, 4K, and if you get the...
Sick was good. They mean I was doing good.
Sick, killer.
It does look a little bit blurry, like I got a face filter on, looking all sexy and stuff, but I don't think that's the case.
Right. Oh, brother, hey, it's all in whatever somebody wants. You know what I mean? And like old Red Green says, if you ain't purty, you better be handy. And if you ain't handy, you better be funny. Well, good thing is I'm handy and funny.
I was about to say, I got a couple of those myself, but pretty isn't one of them.
Right. Who we got here? Hey, it's RC Granny. How's it going, Granny? You doing all right today? I hope everything's going good down there in that southern island that you're on. We got Skebby Skeb sliding sideways in the house. There you go. We got everybody in here today. So, Joe.
I do like this platform. I'm gonna try to mess with it for my YouTube stuff.
Yeah, dude, check it out. I mean,
It's like it
my
because I just yeah.
my boss, DJ Bopper, he's the one that's helped me get my YouTube channel started, you know, with some equipment and stuff. And he turned me on to this because this is what he uses whenever he's playing Call of Duty to stream because it's unlimited.
Really?
You know, so yeah. And well, thank you, Mr. Skiv, for stopping by and saying hi. You can hang out for a little bit, take your shoes off, you know, kick back and relax. And he started me in on this, and I started using it, and I got Sliding Sideways is using it some. Jason's RC, he's using it now. I like the platform. Don't get me wrong, I don't dislike Restream. It's just you know how it is. Brothers be broke around these days, you know. And if I can get it for free, I'd rather do it for free.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So as we call this RC Newbie podcast, what got you into the hobby? How long you been into it?
I've always been mechanical.
Right.
Always worked on things. I remember when I was around 9, I remember helping my father change the differential out of a Ford 9-inch.
Oh yeah, he started you off right then.
So I've been working on stuff, you know, my whole life. When I was a kid, obviously I had like a Traxxas Blue Eagle. I had different trucks and all that, you know, but then life, girls, jobs, and being flat broke, you know, trying to live.
Yep.
You know, kind of takes over. But
now,
then
how long's Traxxas been around?
Traxxas has been around. Traxxas is one of the older brands out there.
Are they?
I'm not sure exactly, but I know it was back in the 90s because
okay. See, I was a hobby grade.
Possibly the late 80s.
I'm just a couple of years behind you, you know. I'm a 77 model.
The Hawk, they had that. The Traxxas Sledgehammer was my first Traxxas I ever had.
Wow.
And that was a long time ago. And I remember that one on the first trip, on the first drive out, I broke one of the outputs on the differential. And at that point, well, I had to get the Traxxas book that came in, or the Tower Hobbies book.
Oh God!
Tower Hobbies. You remember that big old book used to come around? Yeah, the Tower Hobbies book.
I get that. I was a high
the little slip guy. Yeah, the little slip in there. You got to fill that out and mail it in. And then I called them, and a whole different ball game back then.
Yeah. See, I was you know, like a Radio Shack, Montgomery Ward type, you know, because I tended to tear up my toys a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I watched the Fall Guy a lot and Knight Rider, and you know, my Fall Guy truck looked just like his. It had the big crack in the windshield, and you know, so Mom wasn't going to go out and spend hobby grade money for me and RC that I was going to tear up.
Right.
I did have one. It was the 3-wheeler, the Honda 350. I think Tamiya or Kyosho made it.
I don't recall that
big balloon tires. It was about this big. I do know that it was a hobby grade because I ended up looking it up here not too long ago and finding it on the internet. And I wish I wouldn't have broke it by jumping it off the daggone little step that I had. I broke the steering arm, and I didn't have anybody to help me work on them, you know. So I ended up taking the tires off it and putting it on my Ivan Ironman Stewart little short course truck. And so you had Traxxas. Wow. See, I didn't know that Traxxas was out and about back then. I remember the Grasshoppers and the Midnight Pumpkin and those, you know, some of my buddies had some of them. So you've been in it, you've been in it 30 years then anyway.
Off and on.
Makes us feel old, don't it?
Then I got, because just yesterday I was in high school.
Dude, my 30 years
I'll
this
be
year.
Dead tomorrow.
My 30 years this year. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't even supposed to make it 3 years after graduation. And look, I made it 27 more.
Wow.
Yeah. So, all right, you do crawlers, you do bashers, you do circle tracks. What else you do RC wise? You fly any drones or helicopters?
I do have a DJI drone. I will be taking that with me to Beat the Creek this year because I want to get an aerial shot of everybody out there.
Now, what
like
DJI drone you got?
I've got the Mini 3 Pro or
Oh
Mini
yeah,
Pro
I got you.
3.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Sleek
got that
Hobby's a
one.
buddy of ours. He has the Mavic 4 now, but he upgraded from the 3 Pro from the Mini 3.
Yep.
Yep.
Man, this thing does great for me, man. So I'm gonna
Right.
stay with it. I don't do a lot of drone stuff anyway, so it does fine for me.
I've had a
I'll go
couple
up
of
and get a
those.
couple aerial shots.
Right. And the thing is, if you're using it as a camera drone to help film, you're not really flying it as much as what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to fly like FPV or whatever. I just
Yeah,
want to
that's a whole
learn to
different
fly
ball
the
game
darn
there.
thing before I try filming with it. And I think I need
Mm-hmm.
to try filming with it instead of flying it. But I've
Right.
had a couple of those E-Sheen, the cheap ones, like you see
Mm-hmm.
on Temu or whatever. Well, my buddy Bopper, he ordered something off Temu the other day, and he got this one, which is another one of those E-Sheens. It's just a little bit bigger. And
Right.
he gave it to me. He said, I don't know how to do anything with it. He said, it was free to me, so try it. Well, I've been flying it for 2 days. I haven't lost this one, and I haven't broke it yet. Knock on wood. The first one I had, I didn't have that son of a gun, one battery through it, and I got it above the house, and I didn't realize I was standing in the backyard, and you get above the roof of your house. Well, there's more wind usually because your house is blocking the wind. Well, I get up above the roof, vent ridge on the house, son. That son of a gun took off like a bat out of hell, and I'm hitting land. Well, it didn't land. I'm looking all over the place for it, can't find it. And the only place that it could have been was in the neighbor's house that had been out of town and was going to be out of town for a while. 2 weeks later, he shows back up after I did the insurance on it, because that was one thing Mom, she bought it for me because I'd been helping out and stuff, and she knew I wanted one. She bought the insurance, as replacement. I'd already got the other one. I was at my buddy's house. He shows up knocking on the door and hands her my drone. But it'd been sitting outside for 2 weeks. It didn't work. And the other one had already quit working by then. So I took them apart and made an mini FPV camera out of one of them.
Okay.
It's only 720, but it's still something to put on a little AX24 or SCX24 and be able to actually get video with it, FPV wise. You try to use a GoPro or Insta360, you can put on a 24, okay, I guess. But
I'm actually looking at the Insta360. I'm tempted to try to get one of those, just for some different footage. I mean, I'm out there recording, when I'm doing like the track or something. I'm driving, this hand's like this. I'm driving. This hand is a well-trained gimbal. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I've been watching your videos for a while.
When I zoom in, sometimes I'm off a little bit. When you start zooming, you try to bring
you're zooming in, you're losing less pixels, you're losing less area to move. You're tightening in down
so
there.
I'm thinking maybe with that 360, as long as it coordinates with the phone, supposedly I haven't messed with them. Supposedly in the firmware program, you can pick an object and it'll stay on that object.
Oh yeah.
So I can get a good zoom in of the car.
It'll do the follow. I think your 3 should do that. It would follow.
It'll do the follow, but it's not fast enough for an RC.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, now, maybe a crawler, but not anything fast. It doesn't have the quickness to really zip on a track.
Right. See, my buddy, he's got the Mini 4, the one that lives around here, and it's pretty fast.
Now mine will run fast. It'll go fast, but it doesn't have the instant accuracy.
Right.
As far as following something like an RC car is going to halt butt and turn on a dime.
Yep. Hey, what's up, Nas? How you doing? So we got 9 people that's showing right now. Alex, did you say something?
Nope, not yet.
All right. Well, I heard something in the background. It's probably one of these other people up here in the squishy stuff between my ears talking. It's hard to tell. They talk to each other all the time. So, what was you said your first car was a Sledgehammer, or that was his first Traxxas?
That was my first Traxxas. Yeah.
I hear you. What was your first car?
a little brown Camaro, about this big or so, right?
About like an 84, 85 model Camaro.
Something I think it was by Radio Shack.
Yep.
Took that thing apart, never could get it put back together.
Yep. I had the little silver Ferrari Testarossa. Had the hard tires on it from Radio Shack. Man, that thing was wicked. But yeah, I remember that Camaro very well because I really wanted it to be a Mustang because I sure as heck wasn't going to buy no Chevrolet. I'm a Ford guy.
I'm a Ford guy, but I've owned Chevys and I drive a Hyundai.
Yeah, I've had them all. You know, I've had Ford, Chevy, Dodges, Toyotas, Nissans, Oldsmobile, Pontiacs. I've had a couple Pontiacs. There's some GM cars that I like. Well, some GM brands that I like. And I'll be daggone if they didn't discontinue both of them, Oldsmobile and Pontiac. But I really wish that Camaro would have been a Mustang because, I mean, I wanted it, you know. And then I got that Ivan Iron Man Stewart truck. And I had a big Lamborghini Countach. It had balloon tires on it, but they were slicks. I don't know if you remember that. You know, because we're a couple years difference, but it's been 30 years ago, like we said. So you're from Jacksonville, Florida, right? Is that what you said? Okay. I knew you was in Florida there somewhere, but I wasn't quite sure if you was, you know, on the Miami end, the Orlando middle, the Tallahassee, or the, you know.
Yeah, it's actually Middleburg, but nobody's going to know where Middleburg's at.
I do.
But Jacksonville, everybody does.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I really want to get down there. I really want to get down there and hit Arc Parks and hit the Exoplex. And I got a buddy, Hector Navarro. He's in a bunch of the crawling groups on Facebook. I don't know if you've seen him. He's got a badass little red cat and a little Ascent Scout. He lives down in Miami, and he's just got some of the most beautiful spots in the world to crawl on. I just want to go down there and Miami Vice Picket, you know, Crockett and Toad.
Right.
But so you're going to Beat the Creek. I was going to go, and then had an offer to go to Michigan up to Jim Rockwolf's up here where Sliding Sideways, Jason's RC, James RC Garage, Get Traction, JM's RC. I mean, there's all kinds of them guys up there, and they all are in crawlers. Jim's got the next to best indoor crawler course other than Adam and G-Dogs over there across the pond at Reactive Terrain. I mean, he's working on one it's nice. It's as nice as Adam and G-Dogs. It's getting there, you know.
I think I finally figured out how to get there, but I'm also wanting to go to Proline by the Fire.
Where's that?
California.
In California. Wow, that's on the other coast. That's over where Denny Super One-Handed is, and Miss Donna, Denny's mom's in the chat right here, right now.
Yeah, but I'm
Waffles over in California.
And I'm planning to go to Corona because I want to see Reef's place. Chat with him a little bit. I mean, he'll be at Beat the Creek, so he'll be there, but I really want to get out there, and I'll be seeing with Operation 11 Charlie.
Oh, yeah, dude, that right there is awesome. That operation.
Yeah, they were here.
That right there is wicked.
Yeah, they were here today.
To do that stuff for these people. You know,
yeah, they were here today with a gathering and, you know, driving. We went and got everybody pizza and all that stuff. So,
right. Yeah, man. I mean, you know, those guys, they go out and give everything they have for this country, and they get treated the worst out of anybody, you know. And it's good to see people that's helping our vets be able to handle what they went through while they was out of country, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm supposed to be going, they're setting up some stuff. We got to work it out with our schedules, but I'm supposed to be driving down to Melbourne, Florida.
Yeah.
They said I've got 1 hour, but they want to get me to come in, and I've already agreed to do it. But to actually go down there, see some of these guys, and actually have like a little class or something,
right?
Build a rear end or build a transmission or something like that, maybe suspension or what like that, you know, just to have some hands on so they could actually see me. So, just to get a little bit of that. I know when I hang out with them, like at Axial Fest this year, I'll be staying with them again. It's really awesome when you just sit back, shut up, and let them tell their story,
Oh yeah, dude.
because
Because
it really helps everybody. It helps them get their stuff out, and
it teaches us what they have to go through while they're over there. I
yeah,
mean, my whole family's military. My grandfather was a Marine in World War II. He was stationed on the USS New Jersey. He was the XO of the New Jersey's personal bodyguard. So every decision Halsey made, my grandfather was involved in. And he was really, really, really down on himself because he thought that he was not serving the way that he needed to. He needed to be out there fighting with his buddies he went through boot camp with, but in the 40s, they didn't have special forces. They took the best people and made them security for the higher people, and
right.
my grandpa, he was a heck of a man. What's up, Psycho 13? How you doing, brother? That's a real cool thing that those guys are doing for them guys, and I really I like it, because I wanted to go right after 9/11. Just got out of high school in '95. Just had my first kid. She was 9 months old. Well, just under 9 months old. She was born on the 24th of January that year. And I went and started doing my intake and stuff. And they asked me why I wanted to become a Marine. I said, well, my grandfather was a big war Marine vet, and I wanted to go get rid of them. I said a derogatory word that killed our
Mhm.
people here. I said towelhead is what I said, and it was
We all
wrong.
said that, and probably worse.
And yeah, but you know what? The Marine Corps would not accept me because I said that. And
Really.
yeah, I I guess, I mean, I know it was wrong, but I was pissed off, because I had a customer at the time I just sold a car to, was left my car lot 3 days before that to drive to New York because he had a meeting in the tower that day. Luckily, the truck that he bought blew a tire in Philadelphia, and for some reason, their Toyota dealership and all their nobody had a tire. That man was saved by a daggone flat tire on a brand new car.
Wow.
Ten four.
I remember reading and hearing about Seth MacFarlane. You know who that
Oh
is?
yeah, Seth.
The guy that
Yeah.
made Family Guy and all that.
Yep.
He was actually supposed to be on one of those planes
Yeah.
that crashed into the towers.
Yep. So through all the years that you've been doing RCs and stuff, and then you started doing YouTube, how long ago did you start doing YouTube?
I started YouTube kind of by accident. I think it was 2017 with the Traxxas TRX4 Defender. Shot a couple videos driving down the dirt road, and for some reason people started watching, so started doing a video a week, then 2 videos a week, sometimes 3. Then I finally started making a nickel. Finally started a little bit, and then in 2019 I had so much content, and I had to get it out in a timely manner that I started doing daily videos, and I just been stuck on that.
Dude, I'll tell you what.
Sometimes daily videos is a lot of work,
Dude.
especially when you go into events. But I got so much stuff I got to put out,
Right, and that's the thing. I feel that a lot of us that are doing YouTube and are RC enthusiasts, we all sort of have the same mindset. We all always have something going on that we can do to help either our ability to drive RCs or somebody else's ability to drive better or to get into the hobby, stuff like that. And I'll go ahead and tell you, I wasn't really starting my YouTube channel until I'd already been doing research on the AX24 because I decided if I was going to get back into the hobby, I was going to get something that I had to take apart and make work so that I could learn tiny truck mechanics. You know, I already knew one-to-ones the best I could, you know, shade tree stuff. So I had that knowledge coming in, but I didn't realize how big a difference there was in them 23 different scales from that 1-to-1 to that 1/24th. And I got myself in above my head. And thanks to you, Mr. Sliding Sideways RC, 2FM Matt, Kevin Talbot, Tomley, all them boys, Jason's RC, James RC Garage. I was watching them because that was everybody that was doing the reviews on the axe, you know, and not everybody liked them. You didn't really care for it too much, did you? Whenever it first come out,
the Axe 24.
Yeah, not the 10. Yeah,
it was okay, but the small 24s aren't really my thing.
Right. Yeah,
I prefer the larger scale.
I've seen you driving that Slayer of Keone's once or twice, and it didn't seem like it went as good as that Executioner or oh shoot, what was that one you was driving the other day? The old blue truck that you hadn't driven forever.
The old power hobby truck, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm so out of tune with that style of vehicle, I guess now.
Well, I mean, after that's the thing on that driver mod, you've actually got to regress that driver mod to get back to the right level, don't you?
Yeah, you're right about that.
I mean, you know, I've noticed that in things that I do. Sometimes you have to step back and, you know, reset. So
I'm trying to find a post here or a comment. I want to read it to you. This guy, this executioner put a hurting on a RTR Nessie.
A Nessie.
I think that's a deluxe truck. Honestly, don't know.
Somebody in the chat let us know if you do. Hey, look there. There's somebody in the chat. Mr. Waffles RC is here. Now, if you happen to see any comments that look a little weird, it's probably because I go on his lives and give him a little bit of a hard time too. So
that Waffles was right. I mean, 24 stuff is okay. And I've got a couple really nice 24s, but
yeah.
It's like driving a little mouse around. It's like,
right. See, that's the thing. RC Dungeon's the same way. He's a scale guy. He just can't get into the 24s. He lives here in West Virginia, and I don't see why he don't, because it gets cold here. It don't get nothing like in Alaska or nothing like that, but there's not a lot of outside RC times in the wintertime, unlike in California or where Waffles is at, or down south there in Florida where you're at. You know, y'all can get outside during the winter more than we can. And that's what I like about the 24.
I'm in shorts and a t-shirt in the wintertime out here.
Yeah, that's the reason.
So,
yeah. I got you, Mike. Where's Mrs. Waffles at? She gonna come and join her? She just sitting watching. How was Vegas? Have you seen that big tow truck he built? It's a Zach lift. That son of a gun. Well, let's just say here. I'll do it this way. That way you can see the scale that I'm talking about here. Why is that in my way? Well, no, put it back. No. Something's up here. What? Oh, there we go. There, okay. All right. Well, Waffles built a damn tow truck, 10 scale tow truck. It's about this long, about that tall, and it's some of the guns got to weigh over 50 pounds, Joe. But it is beautiful. The man builds his own frames and chassis, and he built the cab and everything on this truck, and it looks like an old Kenworth. I mean, it's a good looking truck. And it's got one of the lifts on it, like, you know, one of the rotator tow trucks, similar, but it's just a big, heavy tow truck. Dude, he's the one that got me figuring out that if I didn't have the money to buy parts, that if it was something, that wasn't a motor, wasn't a transmission or electronic, that I could build it.
Right.
He sits there and uses he don't use a tape measure or nothing either. He just marks it down on his table like I do. And that was sort of real inspiring to me, was to be able to watch somebody take just a bunch of metal stock and make a very effective and pretty RC car out of it. And if you, him, Matt, Skevy Skev, all y'all, it's all y'all's fault I'm on YouTube now. Let's just put it that way. I was in a live chat on Sliding Sideways RC. I think it was Mofo Monday. And I was in the chat, and Skev said, I'm going to drop a link down here if anybody wants to jump on. Oh, he screwed up whenever he did that, because he created a monster. Thank God he did, And I really want to thank all you guys for being such an inspiration and helping the new guys out, because, you explain stuff well enough to where somebody that's new in the hobby and never had any mechanical knowledge can most of the time figure out what you're doing. Yeah, Deluxe Fab, Psycho 13 said. Yeah, comp chassis. Yeah. Okay.
I thought it was a Deluxe. Yeah.
Yep. You was right, Joe. Write it down, right?
I mean, I was right. I was at Deluxe, so.
Yeah.
And I was there with him.
Hey, Coffee Cup, what's going on? Jim's RC and Bikes. Who else we got in here? Got a few. Still RC Granny and everybody. Yeah, cool. We've got 14 in the house. That's awesome. So, what... Get out of my head, Alex. There you go. So, what made you start designing stuff?
Designing
necessity?
stuff?
Yeah, like your inserts and your frames and stuff. What got you into doing that? Was it necessity? Yeah, one of them right there.
I've been sitting here messing with these right here, checking the alignment of all the different chassis. They're all pretty good.
I'll tell you what, to do what you've done with that executioner, that's badass, dude. I mean, you have made that thing. It's wicked.
There's about 160 of these in and outside of America. There's at least a couple dozen outside the country. So they are literally all over the world at this point.
That's awesome. To see something you made go across somewhere else.
It really is. And a couple guys are saying that they're kicking butt where they're at. I'm going to ECC, which is a Noches event after Meet the Creek, and I'm hoping to see some guys out there running my chassis, because I'm going to have chassis rails with me. I'm going to have all the printed parts with me. If somebody there happens to break something, which there's only been 2 parts ever broken on this. If anybody breaks something, I'm going to give them a new part and say, go win. Simple as that.
Right. So what 2 parts actually broke?
One guy managed to break half of one of these off, the skids.
Jesus God.
He somehow managed to break that. I've never broken one of those off.
I saw that whenever you was showing everything, putting it together and stuff. That's a thick piece of plastic.
Yeah. It's pretty good. The tabs are meant right up here, are meant to be trimmed and cut.
There, so everybody can see. And you can see
at full compression, they're almost touching the top links.
Right.
You see there. They're almost at the top links. The drive shaft actually touches right here. Okay. But you put this in and you drive it like this to self-clearance your drive shaft.
Oh, yeah.
So this way you get the absolute maximum that you can get out of it.
That's sweet.
You can see where the little silver is.
Yep.
That's where I drive it and actually make the thing clear.
I sort of did that with this rig I'm working on the other day.
The other guy, I apparently had line or a layer issue. The only guy I've ever seen do this actually broke the skid right in line. It was perfectly across right here.
Now, I think you showed that on an episode, didn't you?
No, because the guy
about it
sent me a
maybe on a
picture of it
live.
here recently, but maybe I did. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was a layer problem, and the layer problem somehow allowed it to break the entire piece off.
Wow.
So, and I was gonna send him two actually to replace it, but he said that he had already ordered a couple, which I looked at his order and he did. I had already shipped. So what I did was I gave him a code for 10% off his next order to try to make up for it.
That's sweet. Heck yeah. Hey, we've got a real legend in the house. We got Urban Legend, a podcast RC legend. Come over to say hi. What's going on, brother? I've been going on some of his chats and watching him and Lyndon and Just Bashing and, you know, them guys up there in the Northeast. They got some pretty good little stuff there. Urban had Built by Rob on there the other day, man, and I'll tell you what, that boy sends his daggone bashers. Have you watched anything by Built by Rob?
Buddy, I gotta be honest with you. I do so much YouTube and RC when I'm on YouTube. Typically speaking, I've got the computer right here. Above it, I have a TV screen. Typically, on that other TV screen is YouTube, but it is reruns from Married with Children.
Oh, hey, dude, you can't beat Alan Pegg.
And I gotta tell you, the older I'm getting, the hotter Peg is getting.
Dude, I'm telling you, even whenever she was on that Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy, yeah. You know she's the voice of Leela in Futurama.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. And she's the voice of something else too. Now, what was something that you used back whenever you first got in the hobby that you still use today?
Drills, hex wrenches,
specialty tools, or something maybe you had to make because you didn't know that they had a tool for it. Or
I have made some tools and all that, of course, but I still have it. It's somewhere over here, over there. A screwdriver that I was
no kidding, Urban
got for me, and I have lost this screwdriver probably 20 times, and I have found it 21 times.
That's awesome.
And I've had it ever since I was a kid. It's just a Phillips head screwdriver, orange and black on the handle.
Right.
I somehow managed to keep this screwdriver. I have no idea how.
Dude, I think just right here the other day. I've got one. Sort of the same deal.
Urban, but I'm quite busy. Yeah,
it was one of the ones that let me take you off solo there so you can actually see what I'm talking about. You know the little screwdrivers, like the ignition type screwdrivers that looked like a pin everybody always kept in their pocket. My grandpa had one,
like a little points flathead.
Yeah, just a little flathead. And he always kept it in his pocket. I mean, that was one thing that man always had in his pocket. Always had that, a ballpoint pen, and a carpenter's pencil because you know he was a foreman on a big construction job. And I've got that screwdriver. That's all I wanted. You know, all the other family members was, oh well, we went and robbed the house, all the money and stuff like this. I said, I don't want the money. I want the memories. You know, y'all can have that damn money. I don't care because. You know, he was more of a dad to me than my dad was. Now, Alex, reword that last question right there, buddy, because my ADD's kicking in. Something. Something that you learned knowledge-wise. I got you.
Along with the question y'all was just talking about, like, what's something that you learned as a new person in the hobby that has stuck with you and you can use today, and you know, some advice like that for people?
Drive with common sense.
It ain't right pedal, right pedal, right pedal.
No, it is not. Drive with common sense. Pay attention to your surroundings. When I used to go off-roading with my truck, dude, I took the radio out in its place with a CB. That's how we communicated back then.
Yeah.
It was with the CB. Zero music, nothing. Listen to your vehicle. It's the same way with crawlers. Listen to your vehicle. If that motor's straining, hey, if you don't want to break parts, find out what it is and get it cleared up. Yep. If you got a tire that is just wedged into something, top and bottom, these are my new inserts, by the way.
I seen them earlier today.
Yeah, buddy. If it's wedged top and bottom and you're sitting there trying to drive out of it, you may break it, and it's your fault.
Yep.
Just drive with common sense, pay attention to what's going on, and just, let up on that throttle. I did a video, I guess a couple of years ago, that was with the Holmes Hobbies, was it 8-turn Crawlmaster Sport 550, right? Great motor. Ran this thing in a TRX4 on 3S, perfectly fine. Well, Holmes got a hold of me and asked me to make another video showing how to properly drive. I'm like, okay, what's happening? Because people were getting this motor, putting it in, burning it up, driving, stalling the thing, just driving like crazy with it. And they were returning them saying, oh, it was okay with exo cage. Well, I don't mind take that. So therefore, I have a video. It's an old video called Got Driver Mod. I actually redid that video again, Got Driver Mod. And then one was Stop Killing Motors. And it was very simple.
That was the one that is very
when you're driving
important.
up into something. Yeah, when you're driving up into something, don't just try to throttle and push out of it, Back up, reposition, get that differential over and move around. It's like driving with common sense. You got to pay attention or you're just going to cost yourself money. Right. In the competition world, the high-end competition world, that's kind of a different ball game because they will push and root that thing to try to get past a line or something. But then again, they typically got top shelf parts and pieces in there to do that. Not, a $20 brush motor on 3S, in second gear on a Traxxas trying to crawl.
Right. Yeah. Now, the battery mall video that you did about burning up motors, that really hit home to me. And everybody was like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Well,
you're talking about the servos?
Yeah. Well, the servos and the ESCs because of the overdraw of the power or underdraw of the power. I started off, like I said, with the axe.
The way that works is this. If you have a battery and it says 150C, cross that crap out. It's a lie. You got maybe 30C. That's the end of it. I have the
rating is the amount of max output that it'll put out, correct? At one time.
That's what it says, and that's pretty much all marketing.
Okay. That's what I've heard.
At burst, you may get 50, 60 C out of it, but you're talking maybe a blink of an eye, okay? Because it's basically dead short. And I mean, you have to look at this thing. You got this battery, and according to that 150C discharge rating and all that, this thing's good for 600 amps. And you look at it, and the wires are like this.
Yeah.
How long is that going to take 600 amps? A blink of an eye. There's a little bit.
It'd burn that up in
right. And then choosing the proper battery for the vehicle. It's like I would never put, a 650 milliamp like I have in here into a Max or a Basher or anything. Yeah, you would not use that battery in your X-Max or anything, a Racer or anything like that, would you?
Because it wouldn't have the juice, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And in my test with this ESR meter, the biggest difference that I found between the different cells, and don't believe the bull crap from Max Amps. Don't believe that.
Right.
Okay. But was the milliamp hours made a huge difference, way more than what the C rating said. Okay. Way more than that. The battery temperature is a big deal. In the recent one, I did some battery temperatures, ESR meters with like the crawler batteries, because people were burning up batteries, especially that guy NSDRC trying to blame everybody in the world other than his junky servos, not having the proper diodes and stuff in them, which I talked to Holmes about. Holmes is working on the diodes and rectifiers and flux capacitors and all that stuff to make all this stuff work, you know.
Yeah,
but when
they've
Holmes
got that part of the Rileys too.
Yeah. Yeah. When Holmes did his video, because he did a follow-up video to the one I did.
Right.
Okay. When Holmes did his video, the entire time he was holding the problem in his left hand. And it was like a 300 milliamp battery.
Yep.
So every time he was waving it, he wasn't waving it for nothing.
Right. Now, see,
So
whenever I got my axe and I started upgrading it, I put a Torque Beast. Well, actually, at first, I put a purple and an MB100 in it, and then 2 Ramp Crab 6 kg servos that were meant to be direct powered. Okay. I was running a 750 mAh 2S Amazon battery. Yeah. And I was getting a lot of brownouts and I was burning up stuff and couldn't figure out what it was. It took me 6 months. Matter of fact, the first person I texted was you about it, I believe. I think, no, it might have been Skip. But what it was the Ramp Crab servos and the Torque Beast were drawing so much power from that MB100 20 amp ESC that was causing shit to go gunny sack on me. And it was causing me to burn up servos. It was causing me to burn up motors and ESCs. I went through 4 motors, 6 or 8 servos, and 3 ESCs in just over 6 or 8 months because of it. And it was because I was trying to pull too much power from an ESC that couldn't put it out. And I had enough mAh, you know, that I had enough on each side. It was just that piece in the middle wasn't letting it work. And everybody was telling me, oh, well, you're not right. You're not right. You're not right. I was like, how can I not be, guys? I said, here's the proof in the pudding. I got the receipts.
We run these things on 650 batteries, and we run these things for 30 to 40 minutes.
And so that's on 4S?
Power, 3S.
3S.
Yep. And we have direct power servos, regular plug-and-play servos. I've actually got an 1100 in here. So you got a Reef's 1100 in here. Some of these servos can pull 6 and 7 amps when you load them. And in the crawler world, it's not like racer where you have a split second of a load because you hit a bump or a wall. Here, it's continuous load.
Yep.
So if your battery is only good for 8 amps and you're in a bind situation and that servo is pulling a good 6, you got about 2 amps left to drive.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's not enough.
Like I say, you may have a little bit of a peak, but you're not going to get more than about 15 to 20. You know, you're just not, and it's not going to be very long, and you'll have issues. These Fusion Pros are efficient enough that we're not having brownout problems.
Right. Earl was talking about them the other day. They're pretty badass motors.
On this particular truck, however, when I go to Beat the Creek, now I've got 4 of the Reef's Easy BECs ordered. 2 of them are already gone, though.
Right.
2 of them, because I've got these RTR executioners to send out.
Right.
Brand new.
And now those are 3D printed chassis, correct?
No, this is a carbon chassis.
Is that the carbon chassis? Okay, but you do have a 3D printed chassis. I
have discontinued the printed chassis. The goal for those was to get people into this platform as cheaply as possible.
Right. See, that damn, it sucks because that's the one I wanted because I'm, you know, I'm a broke.
Those were $30. Right. So, but this one right here and this one right here, I got the bodies. I got to finish painting them. I got to change some battery plugs. I've already got the endpoint set. I've already got everything set up in here. So they're just about ready to go. They will hopefully ship Wednesday before I leave for Beat Creek.
Dude, I'll tell you what. I knew you knew what you was talking about and stuff, and then to see you put it into something and it do what it's doing, man, that's good stuff.
I'm happy with it.
minute, and I want to show you something here. I don't know if you've seen it on my channel or not, but we got a new manufacturer, 3D print guy in the hobby. It's NSRC. He just started his Facebook page last week. He's been working on this chassis here for a little while now, and he's working on a competition rig also. But this is the NSRC shooter chassis. Wait a minute. Let me find out. Hold on. Let me find out. I had it put up so it won't break. It's the way it came from Nathan that has it. Okay. So it's 3D printed chassis. Sorry, you can't hear me. It's 3D printed chassis. It's got a grill. It's got a tailgate. It's got his logo there. Now, this is what's cool about this 3D printed chassis. It's triple thick layered. It's 3 layers thick. All right. And then the black cab piece is its own piece as well. So it's actually 4 layers thick right in through here where everything attaches. It's got a 7-degree angled skid on it. And I'll tell you what, this thing weighs 45 grams. And this thing weighs 460 loaded out. I threw it. I've dropped it from this high. No problem whatsoever. This thing is, he's going to sell it for $35 for this chassis, and that comes with the skid. And he's got a competition chassis coming out. Now he's using PLA Plus. Now, Nathan, if you're watching this, let me know if I'm wrong. Have you ever done like a layered chassis like this, or have you just printed them all one thick layer?
Me?
Yeah. The reason I think he might be onto something.
I use PLA carbon fiber. What he's doing by layering them is he's getting more walls inside to add rigidity to it.
That's what I was thinking.
He's building it kind of like plywood.
Yeah, yeah.
So
that's what I was thinking.
What I'm learning and what he can do, like these inserts right here, these are internal design. There's a lot more inside this than what you're seeing on the outside. So he can take that chassis, say he wants a chassis 4 millimeters thick. In the design, he can actually put internal structures inside of there to create lines and to create rigidity without having multiple layers.
Right.
So, and also adding, structural, like a car, like say a truck bed. You know how it has those little ridges in there? That's all on purpose. It's not convenience. It's there to give rigidity to that bed. Body lines are there to give rigidity to the body. So he can, as he's printing, he can actually add external structures on there, like say bosses for the shocks, different things like that. So he can add all that to it and actually create a similar design or a similar structural with having a single print.
Gotcha. Okay.
What he's doing, like with his the print wall thickness, the top and bottom thickness, you can change that as well to get closer to a solid. You can also add more infill,
right?
But it's not really the same thing.
Right. Yeah. He was. I've had some people explain the infill or the shred fill or whatever. Explain that to me.
There's different kinds of infill.
Yeah. Now, what he's done on this one, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it whenever I find out that I am. But I think he's just doing a color change on this print. Is all he's doing. I think it's all still one print. It's just a color change in the middle, but that would make it a layer, though, wouldn't it? Yeah. Never mind. I just answered my own question.
Well, I am messing with. I've got an AMS from a P1S printer, and that thing made me so mad. I'll literally put in a request to send it back, and then I get an update on the program for the bamboo slicer and all that stuff. And now it's working perfect. I'm like, thank goodness.
What's up, Mr. Rockwolf?
The AMS
Denny?
was well over $400 just the AMS to run 4 colors on after shipping and all that on about a $700 printer.
Yeah, that's what SC Redneck Tony Murrow was telling me that that was going to be what he was whenever he was getting his 4-collar change set up, that was what it was going to run him. Now I was telling you about Rockwolf having the badass indoor course. Check his page out. It's mostly lives. He does some videos very rarely, but wait till you see that course, man. Adam and G-Dog have inspired this old American over here on this side of the pond pretty good, you know. Now, this being an RC newbie podcast and me being a new guy, you know, I asked all kinds of questions, and everybody that's been on my channel before or has even seen me anywhere knows that I can figure it out if you explain it to me, but sometimes I'm a little bit dense. What would be the best advice that you would give somebody that's never touched a tool but wants to get in the hobby?
We all have these wonderful devices, right? Take a picture every step of the way. This way, if you get confused, you can see through your pictures how to put it back together.
All right, that's sort of my stock question for everybody that's on the show.
And if you're taking something apart like a transmission, do it over like a towel or something to where the bearings fall out, bolts fall out, gears they don't hit the table and bounce, because they will bounce from your table out your door into the backyard under your shed. Okay, Alex, I don't know how, but they go those places.
Alex gives me a hard time all the time because I'm sitting here and I drop something and I got this Berber carpet. It's not, you know, I don't live in those 70s shag carpet house. I got Berber carpet, you know, it's nice, tight knit. It takes SCX 24 parts and eats them like it's dinner time, son. I'm telling you. Thank you. That's, like I said, that's my stock question I always ask everybody. You want to know, most of the questions or most of the answers were YouTube, Google, you know, make sure that you do your research. I like that answer to that question. I did. I like the way you answered it. That was good. Because Dungeon come around to that. He sort of did the family circus way of coming around to taking the pictures. But I learned that a long time ago. As soon as these daggone Google machines had cameras on them before they was Google machines, and it was just a telephone, you know. I'd go to take something apart and wouldn't be able to remember it. And I'm never organized enough to be able to put your bearings here, your valve seats here, your valve springs here, all in one place. And
the only time that I was organized like that was when I was actually building my engine for my real truck.
Right.
That was a 414 roller Windsor, all kinds of AFR aluminum, everything, buddy. It was about
my heaven.
Man, it had a Holly EFI throttle body. Yeah, the Holly throttle body. When that came out, it had the EFI on it. That had a monster transmission C6 with a broader performance, specially made reverse manual valve body with engine braking in first.
Yeah, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I had all that stuff, man. That had an off-road design 203, 205 doubler. I made a triple stick shifter.
203, 205.
203, 205. Yep. So the front end was the front end was a Dynatrack Pro Rock 60 with an ARB. I had the RCV CV axles when they came out. The rear was a 14 bolt with Detroit. I did a custom disc brake conversion on that one.
Ooh, I'll bet that was a pain in the butt.
It was some F350 rotors with Chevy 2500 or 1500 calipers.
Yep.
And I had to build the backing plates and all of that to fit all this in
That's
there.
one good thing about the Generic Motor Corporation. You could take their parts and put them on a lot of other things, and it worked, you know.
Yeah, I did a lot. I built the suspension on that one, and I was talking to some guys about it, and I remember back in the day, I told them, I said, look, because they were wanting to build suspensions and all this. Looked at it, and it was a little bit shady. I said, buddy, look, if you are building this, if you're not comfortable with you, your wife, your family in your vehicle at 60 miles an hour on the highway, don't do it.
Exactly.
Simple as that. I went to a shop. Okay, we're talking real trucks now. I went to a shop. It was a local shop. I was pretty big. I've been in magazines, have had four-wheeler magazine here, not here, but at my event covering me, been on Busted Knuckle, YouTube, all that stuff like that. Back before I had all the grays.
Dude,
But
that's where that's where
I
I've
had
seen you before.
Yeah, I had the SETTC. I gave that up, gave it to the guys in the club, and I said, look, this is what you do to run the SETTC. This is what you do, because I was on Extreme 4x4 with Ian. And Ian was ready to go again. Busted Knuckle was ready to go again. I had the part laid out. Everything was done. And 2 weeks to the event, they decided to change the park, which then postponed the park, postponed the event. All the sponsors still showed up. ORI was there. Everybody was there. And one rule I told them, I said, look, in addition to getting shirts for every driver, well, I did it. Every driver had an orange shirt. Every official had a red shirt. And the customer, typical people, were wearing the blue shirts. This way, you could easily visually tell exactly who's running this and who's driving. It was right there. Okay,
that's awesome.
But one of the things that they didn't do was I told them, I said, print the rules in writing. Give everybody a pamphlet, which I used to always give. I give everybody a pamphlet with their shirts and all that they pre-ordered or they came with their entry and all that. Right? They didn't do that, and they ended up kind of changing some rules midway through. They almost had a fight. Sponsors packed up, left. I'm like, and my buddy Austin, not Austin, but my other buddy was there, and he texted me, he goes, the SETTC died today, and I'm like, and then he explained all that, and I'm like, man, you guys had Ian from Extreme 4x4 was ready to go. It was going to be back on TV. Busted Knuckle was there. I mean, everybody was ready to go, but I was so burnt out on this event. I had already given up parts. I parted out my truck and all that stuff like that.
Wow.
I thought they could handle the event, but they couldn't. They couldn't.
Did you meet Curtis from Hill Ninjas whenever Busted Knuckles was around? He used to do a lot of their filming for them, and then he started building their RC courses.
It's possible I did. Now, what I have seen from Busted Knuckle, man, their bouncers, buddy, those things are nice. Dude, they build you a bouncer. You get a book with it. All your part numbers, all your this. I'm like, if I ever strike it rich, I'm going to call up him and say, dude, look, I need a bouncer. I want this, 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 and this on it. Dude, there is another guy that I would consider building a bouncer for me, but to my knowledge, they are the top dog right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, you can see it.
Bouncers.
You know, you see their videos, man. I mean, whenever they're taking that vehicle and putting it through the type of shit that they do, and it comes out in mostly one piece and still running and doing what it's supposed to do, that's badass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I like watching their shop videos where they show the builds.
Yep.
The guy in there fabricating, all that stuff is like, dude, I've been there, done that. Not at that level,
right?
But I've been there, done that. You know, I miss driving it, but I don't miss working on it.
See, I always enjoyed working on.
This is a whole truck in one hand.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? They can almost be as expensive as one of them 1-to-1s at certain times. If you want it to be, but I was, a shade tree mechanic. Here in West Virginia, you didn't have jack stands. Well, I don't have any, I guess. Oh, there it is. You took a log and you cut the top out of the son of a gun and set your truck down on it, So I made some scale hillbilly jack stands.
Yeah.
And you took a tree, had a big old limb on it, and you threw a chain over it, and that's how you pulled the motor out of it. Whatever.
I still have my dual 4x4 lift right here in the backyard.
Really?
It's still up. I don't know if I put a engine in it right now. I need to take my tractor and just rip the thing up and get rid of it is what I need to do.
Yeah. Now, say here in West Virginia, we don't have flat ground like y'all got down there in Florida or out there in.
I know everything's on an angle up there where you're at.
Papa, he was a crazy old man. All right, he was a Marine. He grew up in Clay County, in one of the coal mine towns, and had 13 brothers and sisters, and and he would get up on anything. All right. Well, he used to scrap equipment sometimes, like cranes and stuff. Well, he brought home a bunch of big old I-beams one day, and I said, "What are you going to do with them?" He said, "What are you going to do with them?" I sort of looked at him funny, because I was 13, 14 years old. I didn't have a clue what that old man was talking about. He said, "You're going to drive that 6-inch Schedule 80 pipe in that hillside, in that bank right there." And he said, "And then your big butt is going to take that daggone end of that beam, and you're going to set it on top of that pole." I said, "Well, you think I can do that?" He said, "You say you can bench 450 pounds and you can box squat 750. He said, "That's 1150. Yeah, you ought to be able to do it. Or 1200. But he drove it off the bank, son. And I'm talking utility bed 82 F150 or F250 single axle that if you was a passenger, you had your knees in your chest because of all the tools, because they wouldn't fit the toolbox. That truck, every bit of 12,000 pounds, and it was a 2-wheel drive. And he had it out there on them daggone H-beams, and I was like, "I hope your math's good, Papa." Now, so your one-to-one stuff is pretty much what got you into RCs.
Oh, I was into RCs before all that, but the one-to-one that I built was a crawler style truck. It turned out to be a cab truck with a full exo cage around it. That's how I got my name.
Right. I was wondering. I was going to ask that as well. I hadn't.
That's where the name came from. The name is kind of stupid, but somehow it does seem to work a little bit.
Hey, it works, dude.
But that's why I spend so much time with crawlers over the bashers.
Yeah, but you got one of the best daggone basher ramps in the business. I know it needs some work. I saw that it was getting a little deterioration. My little one that I mimicked yours of, mine's just a little one, but
I think I'm just going to get some plywood and give it another cover over and get through summertime and get it back into winter. Then just build a whole new bottom side for it. The top tombstone side is actually good. I just got to pull the 2x4 back up and re-anchor it. Right. And the top part is actually okay, but I'm just going to plaster another piece of plywood over it. I'll try to find some thin marine grade plywood and just stick that on there and go for it. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, that's a sheet like $75, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of expensive.
Yeah, but you get what you pay.
As long as I use my business credit card, guess what?
That's a tax deduction. Ding, ding, ding. So, how long ago did you start the Exoplex? Whenever you started your YouTube?
The Exoplex started. There's a concrete rock back that I have lined up. Yes, right next to Alley-oop.
Okay.
Way back in the day, I took that and I leaned it up on another rock, piece of concrete, and I started with tire tests. Yep. I'll remember this video. I would put the vehicle up on there, and I was looking at how quickly the tire broke traction and slid on its own. It was a different kind of tire test, and that helped me. But that is actually still out there. I just incorporated it into a line. But the reason for building the Exoplex originally was because at that time we thought we were going to lose this other place we used to go to. Also, way back, you can find videos of the Barbarian Skillplex, in which ultimately we did lose it. But yeah, that's kind of what started this, because we needed a place that we could go. We needed a place that we could crawl and do. And I was getting into recording and stuff like that. So little bit by little bit, I got this done. I got that done. I had a lot of help with dirt, with clearing trees. A buddy owns a land clearing business, and he literally brought a 60,000-pound track hoe out here and cleared my property out. So I've had a lot of help in building that.
So I put in the chat for some of the chat guys to ask a question of you. We'll give them a minute there to figure out what you want to ask.
Yeah.
Dang it, I had something up here in the squishy stuff behind my eyes I was going to ask.
But yeah, I had a lot of help.
I got an analog computer up here. It's more like filing cabinets, and like on Evan Almighty or Bruce Almighty, whenever the filing cabinet keeps going and going and going, that's the way my storage is. Dang it,
like the files in the like the files in the cave, all the retirement folders in the cave that they were talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
man, it was a good question. All right. Let's see here. Urban said he's got him a few acres that he would love to create something special like the Exoplex on. Oh, heck yeah, dude. Oh, and if y'all don't know this, Urban Legend is a bow hunting machine, I hear. I'm going to have to bring him up on that, get him come down here in the West Virginia hills and see if old boy got a shot to him or not. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, picking at you, Urban.
Building a course back there, you got to do it. Yep. Unless you got a lot of money, nobody's going to do it for you.
Right.
You've got to do it. It's like these chassis. I talked with several people to try to build this chassis for me, to try to build the skid design that I had in mind.
Right.
It's hard to see that right here.
Very good.
You know, I couldn't get anybody to do it. When I originally started messing with it, I didn't have the skills to make it happen.
Right.
Then I ended up getting the Elegoo Neptune 4, which was big enough that I could caddy corner, start printing chassis. At that point, I had the skill set that I needed to start building the parts and pieces, and then things fell together. I got with Mias. They got these axles to me, double U-joint, which I've been trying to get done for quite a while. You can get turned like this, you know.
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't believe the steering angle you was getting out of those, man. I
mean, we have actually had it bound all the way like this and driving.
Wow.
We have had it bound that hard and just driving right through it. But the axles came together, the links. I've got a new axle. Hopefully it'll be out in about a month from Mias.
Oh yeah.
Yes. They sent me some STLs. I did a little bit of work on their files and set them up a little bit better front and rear axle for these things.
Hey, a gearhead that knows how to work a computer too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the front axle is going to be 5 millimeters narrower. The rear axle is going to be 10 millimeters narrower. The reason is with Sorka, you have a certain width that you can have the tires. The tires have to be within body width, right?
Right.
So the 5 millimeters is going to allow you to get that and use this axle and have 70 plus degrees turn. The rear 10, you guys wait till what I'm about to tell you. And it'll also allow you, it's hard to see, but you see the wheel nut right here?
Yeah.
My other was this actually sticks out a lot further. So with a 10 millimeter narrower axle, you don't have to worry about this sticking out. You can still keep your same track width. The track width is about the exact same as a 10.3. Okay. But one of the things about it is Look at how clean of a pass through that is.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that whenever you were showing the build on this.
Super clean.
Yeah.
So this back axle just follows perfectly. And then
and
with that skid, yeah, with that skid. Okay, I'm gonna get. I guess I need to get me a camera now. Mine's starting to wash out a little bit. But yeah. Then so I get those done, and I'm also got another axle. Now this one is going through somebody in China that I actually trust. And that's Arthur Singh from Vidavon. I do a lot of Vidavon.
Yeah, I was waiting on you to bring Vidavon up. I've been
Vidavon. Yeah, Vidavon cuts my chassis. He's the only guy that I trust to actually send an STL to in China.
Right. What's up, Homesteaders? How you doing? RC Homesteaders in the house.
Because Arthur makes a lot of parts for American-made companies.
Yeah.
That I can't even discuss. Okay.
Right.
So, and I can't even get those parts from him because of his agreement and contract.
Right.
And I've been working with Arthur for almost 8 years. If I can't get their parts through Arthur directly, that tells me a lot about him.
Right.
That he's trustworthy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Somebody I can work with. So
right.
It sucks that I couldn't get some of these parts, but it really told me a lot about the character and who he is.
It shows that man's got a lot of integrity, you know. I remembered what I was going to talk about, and it's about one of your drivers, and we was talking about him earlier, Keone. He's a Team XO Cage and Team Texoma driver, and we were in a group, and we were talking about setup tables and stuff. And he was explaining that, you know, setup tables, that'll get you a starting place, right? But it's not going to tell you what your rig's going to do whenever it's on the hill, because you've got loading, unloading, you've got speed, you've got all these other things that, you know, come to affect what is going to happen with your vehicle whenever it's in that spot, you know. And it made a lot of sense to me. I was, you know, judging by the setup tables, all this, all that, you know. Well, y'all need to get it at least 70% or, you know, 70-degree vertical and at least over 60 on side hill or this, that, and the other. And it wasn't helping me, but it was because of this right here. See, I'm more of a right pedal, and that's how I spun the gears in a Mofo X15 as easily as I did, because I got the daggone thing hung up. And it really hit in the squishy stuff behind my eyes. And it made a lot of sense. And I've tried to help other people by explaining the way he did to me that. Now, Urban's got a good question here, and I don't know if you're going to go down this rabbit hole or not, but what's your most upgraded RC?
Yep, I see one from Urban and Waffles. The most upgraded RC. That's really kind of a toss-up, to be honest with you. I have a UDR that is almost 100% Vidavon, complete with the carbon body. Okay, so complete with a carbon body. That one is extremely modified. I have a 12S X Max, which has got almost everything from Vidavon on that. I've got
that NASCAR body, sweet.
I've got almost a full Creighton 12S 8S truck. I've got a DBXLE, which is almost all Vidavon. I mean, you're talking $5,000+ trucks.
Oh, easily, yeah.
I've got this right here, which I just put a rear sway bar on, and now it handles really good.
Top man, dude, is that the one? That's the one you made the video of last week or week before last, right?
Yeah, with the sway bar.
Dude, I've never seen you take one of your big trucks and actually bash the hell out of it, but you was bashing the hell out of that thing.
That thing went so good. I felt more comfortable with the rear sway bar. It felt more comfortable on the jump, so I could send it with a little more confidence.
Yeah.
Without the sway bar, it would torque and just jump like crazy, so I couldn't really get on it very well.
Yeah.
My other one is the Vidavon 8x8x8. That now is $6,800 for a roller.
Wow.
So it's a good thing I work with these guys, right?
You see what Talbot's building? He built that 8x8x8.
I did.
And he hinged it, and it actually worked hinging it some, but then he
out of their red, I'm out of the Red Cats. Now Waffles RC, what front
I'm
axle?
getting ready to come to that one.
Okay, let me see if I can show these to you. Double U-joint axles. It's hard to see. If I can just get this to turn. See that right there?
Yep.
What this does, this allows. So you know how like you get your tires running, they just start shaking. All that shake is gone with double U-joint axles.
Because
this is the Capra axle,
binding, right?
Yeah, this is the Capra ISO axle by Mias.
That's pretty.
This particular axle right here was going to go. I've got 10 more axles ordered, so they should be here. They won't be here by the time I go to Beat the Creek, unfortunately. So these right here will be sold. But these set of these axles are going to go on a custom executioner that I'm going to send to Kevin Talbot.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm
cool.
going to send him a spare set of rails and all the plastic print pieces, because I'm going to say
you got to send spares to that man.
I'm going to tell him, I said, look, I'm not telling you to do it. I'm not telling you not to do it, but it would be awesome if I happen to see this thing on 6S going off that skate park.
Oh, dude, the one,
awesome,
the old skate park over in England, not the one over on the Isle of Man. The old one where
any skate park, dude. Any skate park.
One that he sends all the way down from the field and hits the jump, and he jumps all the way over to the tree.
Oh, yeah. I would love to see this thing go there. He's going to break everything on it, but it'll be an awesome video, man.
I mean, he's got the ability to be able to repair it, and, he does it so that people can enjoy it, but they can also see what kind of abuse that vehicle will take.
Right. Now, on this axle, I want to point something out. With the double U-joint, I mean, you can just see right here the angle that you can get out of this thing, and you can get more out of it, too. There's more available than what you get. You can do a little bit more trimming and get that. But the double U-joint, I'm working on a new axle with Vidavon. I'm hoping to get it by the end of this year. But this axle should have clearance and adjustability to get at or slightly over 80 degrees turn.
80 freaking degrees?
And smooth with the double joints. Right. Because with these double joints, let's just say this was 70 degrees right here, right? Just as a round number. Say this was 70 degrees turn. Each joint only gets 35 degrees because it's split with that double joint design.
Right, and you're not going to bind up at all on 35 degrees. You're going to bind up more around 50 to, with a single.
Correct. I mean, let's just say he somehow manages to get us 90 degrees turn. I don't see that happening. You never know. But even at that point, you'd only be looking at 45 degrees on the U-joint.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
so that's a whole lot better than what you get with a normal joint right now. Turning to a 55, 60, you're pushing it. And I went over this. I've tried to explain phasing to people and how the oscillations change.
Yep.
And that's why when you start turning it, you start hearing blah, 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 and it starts shaking like crazy. It's because that wheel is speeding up and slowing down almost 4 times. I think it's 4 times, possibly two ups and 2 down, 2 speed ups and 2 slow down per revolution because of the way the U-joint works.
Right. Yeah. Now, Boom Sang Plus went over some of that there not too long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, which is why drive shafts need to be phased correctly and at the same angles. If not, you'll get it in your drive line.
Now, that's where I was getting ready to go with that. Because
you probably built trucks and like, man, why is this thing vibrating so much? Because your U-joints were either clocked at the slip spline, which I've been there, done that.
Yep.
Or you had like your rear axle turned up straight and you had all the angle at the transfer case.
Yep. Been there, done that. You're exactly
Yep.
right. And that's what I was wanting to get into because, you hear a lot of people talking about, oh, well, you don't have your drive shaft phase and it's going to do this and it's going to do that. And everybody's like, man, it's a toy. It ain't going to, well, yes, it will.
All those dynamics apply. Everyone. You figure we're driving these trucks with scale what? Scale 4,000 horsepower? I mean, basically.
Yeah, and speaking
at least
that mini T is a wicked little unit.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I was
micro T
watching your video yesterday.
The micro T that I showed recently?
Yeah, the micro T. Yeah, not the micro B, the micro T, the truck. That
this
thing, son, I mean, it would just turn on whatever it wanted to turn on.
Super, man, on that pad, on that track, we was actually getting this thing up on 2 wheels.
Yeah, you were hitting 5.8 lap times with that car right there, and I watched you with those hopped up Groms that you did, was getting right at 5.6, 5.8, and that's a 28 scale, and those are 12s.
Yeah. Now, I was contacted today because he saw my video. You notice I do some Furitech stuff from time to time?
Uh-huh.
He contacted wanting to send me the brushless kit for this. And I said, buddy, it doesn't need it. All it's going to do is ride a wheelie. It's not going to be controllable. The buggies are a different story. They can kind of take it. But what he did show me was some new steel gears for this transmission. So what I told him was, take this, take the buggy first thing, but take this, put your brushless system in it, and give us a drag race wheelie bar for that little dude. Could you imagine 128 drag racing?
Yeah.
That would actually be pretty darn bad to the bone.
Right. Now, FMS come out with one, but they didn't do it the way I wanted to. I want to do a pre-runner short course truck in 24 scale. Want to do an independent front suspension. And I want to run FMS ring and pinion axles or something, maybe even motor on axle on it, even on the rear. Because I know worm gears ain't gonna work, even though Matt.
No.
Matt Wheeler got 40 mile an hour out of one, but
yeah, there is an MOA 124 axles are built and they are driven now. So we do have, you will see it on the channel as soon as Keone gets it, actual MOA 124 crawler.
Really?
They got it now.
MOA crawler. So you talking about a cheater rig in 24 scale. Oh hell, you heard it here, folks.
It's coming.
That's gonna be badass, especially with Keone driving it.
Keone's going to get it, and then we got to deal with dual ESCs. We got to set that up so we can drive both motors independently. All that drive like that. So that is going to happen.
Now, on those MOAs, do they use regular pistol grip type controllers, or do they use stick controllers?
I have done both. Okay. I generally drive one-handed. So what I do is I have the drive set up here on this hand right here. This isn't the proper radio, but I wanted to show you.
RC here.
Yeah. Okay. So I drive here, steer like this right here. On my RC8X, which I like for this kind of stuff, I have a little orange printed knob that goes on here, and I can rear steer it like this. Yep.
For my
so that's the rear steer. When I'm driving with both hands, which sometimes I do drive with both hands, I'm not any better though. I'll actually rear steer like this, and then drive normally like this right here.
Okay, now, here's the reason that I was asking. Because, back whenever we were young, we didn't have these. We had sticks, and then they came out with these later on.
There are guys that use the airplane sticks on those.
Yep.
And I did a video with that.
You did?
I did it a little bit wrong, which was crazy brain strain. But I think the left one was the front motor and front steering. This was in that big Super with the 8-inch tires.
Okay.
The right one was the rear motor and rear steer.
Okay.
I had full independent control. And then I found out from Barry Sobel that I did it wrong. I was supposed to put a mix into the radio, which I'm not really sure how to do to begin with, to where you can drive it normal driving with one stick, got your steering, right? But the other stick, it will influence and adjust that. So you can pull back and bring that back end down or speed the back end up or however vice versa you want, but it's all mainly controlled off of one stick.
Right.
Okay. It's kind of like it's a mix is what it is.
Right. And see, that's something that I don't really like is a mix. And I'll go after you get done, I'll tell you why.
Mix is amazing when it comes to doing stuff like this. I used to use a mix a lot when I did four-wheel steering because I'm driving one-handed, let the thing mix and do all that. But then you got to have your other buttons, like with the Hack Fly Sky JT3C, you had the other buttons real quick. That was super about that radio. And you could get into the different modes immediately. You didn't have to count the beeps or anything like that to cycle through.
Right. Or like when the SLT3 hit the cycle through and have to jump through that middle section. And
right. This was all immediately right there, which was phenomenal, which allowed me to drive one-handed very well like that. Because I was driving one-handed before I even started recording, by the way. I race one-handed a lot of times.
Dude, I've watched all y'all do this one-handed stuff, and it just amazes me to watch you all be able to control one of those cars that are doing 60, 70 mile an hour with your thumb and your index finger, and
it's just the way I do
it. Easy as pie, you know?
Yeah, it's just when I do all the...
Now, we won't be able to get him off a daggone screen if you keep talking that stuff, Homesteader. His head will swell up so bad, his old lady won't even be able to get him in the front door.
Oh, where are we at on these comments? Let me look at these.
Homesteader's next to last question, or next to last comment.
Yeah, RC Homesteader's commented, I really love those axles. Yep. I've got more of them on the way, but Mias does have them in stock. If you want to order directly, I do have some on the way. I was hoping they'd be here by the time Beat the Creek. Half of them are already sold to the local guys. But I do have some left. They are 170 shipped for both of them. They're complete axles too, so actually pretty good price.
That's pretty good. I don't know if you know Super One-Handed RC or not, Mr. Denny. He's our newest factory salesperson for it's A-Main, ain't it, Denny?
Okay, I see Urban Legend commented here. Felt bad about seeing the green Dodge crash.
Yeah,
you know. The car isn't meant for speed. It's meant to do donuts and play around, bash around in the parking lot. I have a brand new one, by the way. I ended up selling the green one. I have a brand new one. It is a red one, and I haven't put power to it yet.
Oh,
but yeah. I've got an idea. I don't know that the print will hold up, but I want to change the front suspension arms. As the car sits, there's almost no caster to it. It's almost perfectly straight up. There's a little bit of angle here, but it's straight up. Okay. So I want to change the arms and get some caster on it so it'll track straight. There's no natural tracking. You know, like with your car, you have to steer wheel, it naturally tracks. None of that with that thing. So it's real hard to hold it when there's no natural tracking to it. So I've got to get this done. And I'm thinking about some PLA carbon fiber. I just really need to get it. I mean, I've also got my raminator I got to mess with, ram bouncer I got to mess with that.
A few irons in the fire, you say. A few too many sometimes.
It never ends. But yeah, I know Viking RC was the one that crashed it. Then second, it was Sean. Yeah, I had it. I was driving one-handed. I got it up to around 60, but every time you let off the throttle, it would just unload and just spin out every time.
Yeah, I was wondering if that's what it was.
Aerodynamics of that car is like a brick.
Now
it's like a brick.
Now, Super One-Handed took a DR10 drag car and he made a rally car out of it. And I'll tell you what, it made a damn good little rally car. It's a nice little basher, pretty much. You know what I mean? But it works. It does what a rally car is supposed to do, and he took a DR10 dragster and made it. You need to check out his channel, man. He did a good job on that thing. Waffle says he needs some of them axles.
I saw he's going to have to contact me through the Facebook Messenger or something like that so he can
he's
get
on
on my
Instagram.
little,
He don't do Facebook. He's like Alex. They don't do Facebook too much.
well, I'm on Instagram
On
too. They can
Instagram,
message me there. Now they do realize that Instagram is Meta, which is Facebook.
Right.
So
but
it's kind of the same
BS
thing.
with the people in the groups, I think, because
I have learned never try to argue with an ignorant, hard-headed person. Because you argue with them, you try to tell them that what they did was wrong, you're going to get a whole bunch of like-minded, ignorant people. And I say ignorant because they don't know, but they're going to follow the other guy that they think sounds better. It's like, just keep on scrolling. Just keep on scrolling.
You got her, buddy. He ain't got no choice. That's the thing. Lawful ain't nobody drive one-handed like Denny. That's because Denny has to. Man.
Yeah, when you're doing this for a living, when you're doing this when you're doing this for a living, you got to drive one-handed.
Yeah.
Whenever you guys see me with the low-C NASCARs running 5-second laps, dude, that's one-handed.
I meant to ask you what Urban asked a little bit ago. I didn't forget about you, Urban. That NASCAR body that Guru painted, did you end up getting it?
I've got that. Yes.
Yeah. That was
that
a beautiful
I keep
body.
Inside. That does not.
Oh, dude, that would be sitting on my headboard. You know what I mean?
I have RCs across my headboard, yes.
But that one would be. It would be sitting on my headboard. That's a beautiful car.
It is definitely beautiful. It is put up. It is not gonna. I did that one video with it, and man, I drove super easy with that thing.
Dude.
I thought I could hit the wall with it, but I drove nice and easy with it, and I put it up.
I'm a performance over looks guy, but if I would have had the ability to get that daggone car, yeah, all my T's would be dotted, and my I's would be crossed. You know what I mean?
They've actually I saw somebody posted that they actually have a list of all the new cars that are about to come out, the new liveries and all that.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to try to get one of everybody. Every single
one
body.
of them that you won't be able to get because they only made 3, and that's the Kinetic number 30 Cletus McFarland car. Cletus has got one, Ronan's got one, and they got one to give away. So you might get lucky and get that one that they give away.
I'm not that lucky.
I ain't either. I'm
not that lucky,
dude.
Is it on normal body on a Ford Mustang Camry or something?
It's it's got to be Chevrolet. It's Cletus. He don't do nothing else but Chevrolet.
Yes, it'll be on the Chevy body. Then
on the Chevy body.
I know guys that can paint. Me, but I do know guys that can paint.
But yeah, they got one for each of them. Cletus has one, and Ronan Hatwood has one, and then they got one to give away. And I don't know if they've even given it away yet. I think they were going to try to do a contest for it or something. But how did anybody know? I don't know. I quit watching NASCAR a long time ago. How did Cletus do in qualifying today? Does anybody know? In the chat, let me know if you know, please.
I know in the other race he got crashed out by the same woman twice.
Not Talladega, but 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago. Yeah. Same woman crashed him the first time. Then she crashed him and finally took him all the way out the second time. I'm like, God, people. I mean, I was at the Freedom Factory for Armageddon, and it's awesome down there. That
was a great video. There was a bunch of y'all down there doing some good videos.
Did you? Dude, they brought us in. They brought Kamikaze in, Mark Santa Maria, Greg from RC Driver Online, which is a super cool dude. Man, we went to dinner, chatted about all kinds of stuff. We actually text back and forth and call each other because every now and then we'll both have something that's not released, so we'll chat and compare notes back and forth.
Did you I've got this crazy son of a gun talking about here, RC Homesteader. He's a little bit nutty every now and then. You see this? 250-pound bow fishing string works amazing as a winch line. Got a new wrinkle in the squishy stuff between my ears.
Yeah, we've been doing that for quite a while.
250-pound line. That's damn.
Dude, these winches are strong enough to cut to your bone. Yes.
No shit.
Yes, for real, dude. They will cut you. And then Reef made a Beast 2000 winch. The
I've heard about that. And Homesteader knows I'm just messing with him, by the way. Everybody else, he knows I'm kidding. If y'all,
dude, he was telling me about that, and I told him, I said, dude, you really need to put a warning label on that servo.
Oh
that
yeah,
can probably cut through the bone. That thing is so strong, especially when you get towards the middle of that drum.
Now, I don't know if you watch Homesteader's channel or not. He took a Vanquish and put a SC6 or he put a Jeep body on it, SCX10 Jeep body on it, and it is a very, very, very comparable rig to have all that weight. The way he's got that thing set up on that chassis, it don't wobble, it don't sway, it's planted. I couldn't believe it because I saw him doing it. I was like, wow, I said, this thing gonna be top heavy. He said, no, you really wouldn't, dude. He said, and then he said, watch that video again. And I watched it. He came off camber and then started twisting, and that body just sat right there like it was supposed to do the whole time. That thing went all, I mean, it was going places that the hopped up rigs he was with was having trouble doing, and he had a hard body on it and was doing it. That's wild. Now he's got him a place out there in Arkansas that he's building him a exoplex type park, you know, and it's beautiful. I'm talking mountains and caverns, and dude, he's got a boat sitting in the middle of his holler for some reason. I don't know what in the world out there fishing in hollers. I'm just giving him a hard time. He said it'd been there forever and he don't know why it was there, but they got rid of it. It's got a beautiful place out there. And what did you say, Granny? I see here.
She said, top 10
finish. Sweet. Heck
That's
yeah.
pretty good.
And,
that's pretty good.
Now, Homesteader's has got one of his rigs. It thinks it's a old school 1980s breakdancer. And P-Max is a little bit jealous because everybody talking this breakdancing stuff, and she's pretty good. You know, she does Ninja Turtle backflips and stuff. I think we're going to have a contest between who's got the best RC breakdancer. I've been messing with him about this for a little while. Joe, we're about an hour and 41 minutes in. If you got about 10 more minutes, we'll cut her off here shortly.
Yeah, I do have to make a phone call.
Right. I didn't realize, and Alex did say something to me about 40 or about 30 some minutes ago, and I forgot to ask.
It's all good, buddy.
Excited and talk about these daggone cars. You know, I never thought I would get into RCs like I did, but whenever me and the state of West Virginia had the disagreement, they said I couldn't drive, and I asked them how in the hell they knew they didn't ever ride with me, and I laughed, and they sent me to jail, and they didn't laugh. I had to figure out something to do with all these things that I had going on in my head that I was wanting to do one-to-one wise. And I had a grandson, and FPV was, it's been about 3. Just see, he's 3 now. Yeah, he's 3 now. I had to think for a minute. But I wanted to be able to play with him and, you know, get him into the hobby and do the FPV stuff. So I bought that little cheap Walmart 24 scale buggy that everybody uses, the buggy body itself on their 24s. It's what I had. That's what I have on P-Max. Well, what I had on her until I did this. Oh, where'd you go? I got to clean my desk off. I should have done what you was doing before the live and cleaned up my spot, but I didn't.
Well, what's crazy, the camera coming off the computer isn't as much of a wide angle as my phone.
Right.
So
yeah. And if you put it on landscape on your phone, you get a good wide angle.
Yeah. You guys can see some junk when I'm set up like that.
Hey, I'll tell you what though, man, you did build you a very nice studio there, and I'm impressed. I'm surprised an old daggone wrench head and gear guy can put a hammer and nail together, you know.
There are very few nails in here. This is all screwed together.
Oh, I guarantee it. I'm just, you know, now I'm an old wood guy. I'm a drywall finisher by trade, you know. I can take something that's flat and make it and add material to it and make it look flat.
What I want to do is this background. You can see the wood grain. I want to get some black felt or something and sheet that. So the background is
there is something that I suggest. I've done sound for live bands and DJing and stuff like that for a very long time. And I don't know if it's the setting on your mic, but it's most likely the room that's giving you a little bit of a reverb, a little bit of you're in a hall, not like in a
Yeah.
bathroom.
Well, yeah. This right here is the computer mic.
Right.
So
And that's what
typically
I was getting ready to say. I hear it a little bit when you're using your wireless mics, but
sometimes I'll have them weird, or I have them turned up too much, and I do got to get my sound right. But yeah,
I was going to say that felt whenever you put, or if you put something on that wall that will help deflect the sound, absorb it, whatever, that'll help out a lot. And you can take egg cartons, and well, it'd be
the
hard to get them
angles,
right now, but
yeah,
what that's going to do, it's going to set it up like you see all the sound studios where they got the pyramids and stuff. Well, that's pretty much what an egg carton is. It's just rounded off a little bit, and it will deflect the sound to where it'll give you a better quality
it'll
sound.
deflect and deaden the sound. Yes.
Yep. And it won't give you the bounce and the reverb and the hollow sound, which I'm not having it right now, but I did hear it there a minute ago, and I don't know what mine sounds like. I can hear it through my headphones.
Your microphone is doing perfectly fine.
Well, thank you, DJ Bopper, for all he's done. I mean, dude, this is a $85 freaking mic that he got me for Christmas, and I mean,
wow,
he's truly my brother. I don't have very many family left except for my mom and my kids and my two kids, and well, I got two kids, two bonus kids I had from a marriage that are still my kids from another marriage. I didn't make them, but
I know
they got
I
two
have
dads and a mom, and they like their dads better than they do their mom. But
I have 3 stepdaughters, and they're mine. As far as I'm concerned,
and all my best friends' kids, those are my nieces and nephews. It takes a village, they say. Well, by golly, here in Cross Lanes, West by God, Virginia, whenever we started popping out kids, that were attached at the hip from the time that they was born until now. And you got in trouble by one parent, you get in trouble by all of them. So they learned real quick either how to lie and get out of it and hide it from us, or own up to it and take what they get.
Okay.
But oh, you picked up something that was it looked like a good chocolate covered donut a minute ago, except it had a few holes in it. What you got going on there? I think I seen something this morning about that too.
my inserts.
Yes. Now,
this is something I've been working on. I've got probably about 30 or 40 of these prints, trying to get these out. But they are internal structure 3D printed inserts. You can see a little bit of the internal structure. You can see a little bit. Trying to get that to show up. You can see right there. You can see it through there.
Yep.
They are tubes inside of here. Ones you can see and ones you cannot see for rigidity. And it's basically an internal structure insert. Basically, you can see some of the ribbing on the outside.
Yep.
This is there to have durability, to add a little bit of not texture, but a little bit of form factor to it. Because of that, like what we talked about with trucks, the beds have their ridges. Same thing. It adds a ridge to this. It adds some rigidity to it. It adds structural integrity as well.
Right. I will.
So, yeah. So it's just one on. I've never seen anybody else with a crawler insert like this.
Right.
I mean, I went from like this right here. I'm already past this one. I already passed this one on my design. Hopefully, the next video, I've got at least one, if not 2 videos right now that I haven't even sent out yet on these, but hopefully I'll have something soon. And I have a design where, because these are going to be called the X codes. You see like the side ribs over here? I've got a new design that's going to X the whole way through. It'll X them. Ooh, that really got.
Have you? I know that you make your own, so you probably aren't trying out other inserts or anything, especially because you don't mess with 24s that much. But have you messed with any of the Banff inserts?
Yes, I have. As it is right now, I won't touch them.
Really?
So
now,
much
I know
drama.
with all the political stuff going on and with all that is why I've sort of slacked off about talking about them. But I'm actually getting real good performance out of those inserts on these tires.
Yeah.
And he sort of did what I was trying to explain to you that I was wondering about on his ribbing, where he staggered it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up, girls? RC2. And it seems like it works. Now, this is the ones that he made for the Klingons, and I'm fairly impressed with them. Now, all the drama and the BS, I ain't dealing with it. So that's the reason I haven't.
I'm not going to mess with him. I've had his inserts
Later,
before,
Urban.
but no more.
Yeah,
I'm done with him.
And
Three Brothers RC, good stuff.
Yeah,
I do have inserts for 1-inch wheels, and that I call them munch inserts.
Huh? I don't know if I've ever even heard you talk about them or seen them.
All they are is basically they're like a pro code, and that's all they are is they have this to come to the outside of it, right? There's no ribbing to it. There's none of that. What it does is it allows you, like typically these cars are so light, pretty much anything in there makes the tire too darn stiff. You can't get any squish.
Right.
This does not have anything in the carcass of the tire. All it does is hold the sidewall where it's supposed to be.
Okay,
so the tire can hold, the tire can wrap. It can do everything it's supposed to do, but it doesn't fall over when you're on a side hill. They're dirt cheap, easy to print, and they are on the website. They're called munch inserts.
Okay. Yeah, I know, Laughlin. I've seen him running them Texoma Slayers on his course. And he's got a few, but most of the time he just goes over and steals Keone's rigs and drives them. That way, if he tears it up, it's Keone's, not his.
Yeah, it's like I have a hard part Dementor here, which is phenomenal, but I'll never drive it very much.
Well, and that's it. I hate to say this because hard part makes such great rigs, but daggone, if you're going to buy a 24 scale, I mean, that's a lot of money to put in a 24 scale car. I mean, don't get me wrong. You get exactly what you pay for. Just like whenever you buy an Executioner off you get quality trucks and quality parts. But as being a new guy, it's hard to get in the hobby if you ain't got a lot of money, they think. Well, because of Waffles RC and a few other folks, I'm going to show you something, Joe, and you probably won't believe that this worked. I have... I made my own rear links. Okay. Now, I didn't use ball ends on these. Now, what I've done, I made those out of steel. I don't know what kind of steel because it's a sticky steel. It's not a slick steel. So I don't know. It's probably just old pot metal. But what I did is here on these ends, I took and drilled the hole out just a bit bigger than the screw, the 1.4 screw itself. And then I took heat shrink tape and put over heat shrink insulation, wire insulation. And I put it over the end of these rods, over that hole. Now, I didn't put a hole in them or nothing. I took that screw and I shoved it through that heat shrink, through that hole. And, through the link mount, through the heat shrink, through the link, through the heat shrink, back into the mount. And what that did was I made my own bushing with that heat shrink. And by making that hole just a smidge bigger than the screw, it allowed that heat shrink to act as a bushing or a rod end. And I have not, well, I'm finding some real wood here. There we go. Broken a screw on these links in a year, or just over a year, I've been running these rear links like this, and it works. That was all because of Mike at Waffles RC sitting there taking a daggone piece of metal, laying it on the table. Well, that's how long I want it. That's how long I want it with the Sharpie, and he made it. And he started building his frames and links and stuff. And I was like, well, heck, That crazy dude over on the left coast can do it. I know my redneck engineering butt can do it. And you can do stuff, guys, when you DIY stuff. Like I take a brass bushing on a 1.0 wheel. It's a 7/8 brass bushing. I take it and I cut it down and I made my own wheel weights. You know, I glued it on the inside of the 1.0 wheel. It works fine. Alex told me to ask something here and I can't remember. Okay. What would be the biggest final advice for somebody coming into the hobby, no matter what it is? It could be tech, it could be if they're shooting video, anything that you think would be the best advice you could get to an RC new person besides taking pictures. You already covered that one, which I thought was a great answer.
Going to be something you're probably not ready for.
All right, let's hear it.
Find some friends that you can go enjoy the hobby with.
Yep.
Find yourself some friends.
You know,
that's a big deal. If there's nobody you can enjoy it with, you're not going to enjoy it.
That's the problem that I'm having, because here in West Virginia, we have 2 Ed's RCs. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ed's. We got one in Parkersburg and we got one right here in Cross Lanes. We don't have any hobby towns. We don't have any hobby shops. We got Cobra RC, Sebastian Haynes. You know Sebastian?
Mm-mm. Hold on, Sebastian Haynes?
Yeah, I thought he was a exo cage driver.
Yeah. Hold on, I may have an order for him right now.
Hey, that boy can drive.
Sebastian Haynes, I got an order for him right now. What did he order? Let me see.
He just started his own park.
Big stuff this time. Yeah.
He'd been selling some parts off pretty hardcore to get some money for that, I think. What, am I boring you? Why are you so nosy? Am I boring? I'm picking on Nas. He works his daggone ass off. That's probably why he fell asleep. But Sebastian, where I met Sebastian at, was at Cobra RC, which is the pit crawl zone here, just right down the road from me. We got one crawler course, and we've got that Ed's RC, and they got a little carpet track in the back. I can't get SCX 24 parts anywhere. I mean, you know, Cobra will get them for me, but I can order that. You know, I'd rather give it to the local guy, but I'm Generation X. We're sort of the reason for the I want it now and you know, being impatient. We are. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. And I want to be able to go to a hobby town or a traction store and be able to grab the part that I need off the shelf and put it on my truck and run it because I just broke it and I'm really mad about it. I can't do it. I can't find it like that. Here in West Virginia, you know, we're not total hillbilly. I like the way you talk. You're my sister. You're my sister. We do have, you know, some places to go, but we don't have a big enough population to warrant having some of these bigger stores. And where was I going with that? Oh, I don't have a lot of people around here that are close that are into RCs. You know, everybody that is are like Dungeon. Dungeon lives up in the northeast part of the state, not all the way on the eastern panhandle, but he's 3 hours away from it. You know, and I don't drive. We've already discussed that. So it makes it harder on me to find people to crawl with and stuff. So I picked up and I found my mofo family whenever I got in with Sliding Sideways and all these crazy people here in the chat that are mofo idiots, just like the rest of us. And that's become my family, really. You know, I was having at this time in my life, whenever I got into these cars, I was pretty low. You know, didn't have any faith in family, didn't have any faith in people anymore because long story short, but my family, besides my mom, my kids, my grandkids, are my YouTube family. And I consider you one of them, Joe, because you put up with my crazy questions sometimes. I know you got to look, oh, God, what's he doing now? This man's got some of the wildest things going on. But I really appreciate it. I really do, Joe. And keep doing what you're doing, man, because you inspire a lot of people, and you come up with one of the best catchphrases, that driver mod in the world. It's
It wasn't
gone.
me dude, that's been around forever. I just say it
Really?
on camera.
Well, I
Oh
heard
yeah,
it. I heard it from you
yeah,
first, and you've made it go big. Okay, and I
yeah.
want you to know something
That's
else.
been around forever,
You're
man.
one of the best daggone hype men in the industry. You know what you're doing to make it work, and you make it to where people would like to do it. You know, I'm not saying you trying to um, finagle nobody or nothing. You know, you're putting it out there. You're putting yourself out there. You're putting your product out there, and you're doing it in the right way. I really like what you got going on, man. I really do.
When the tariff thing is over, I'm gonna attempt to
We
see if
almost
I.
got away with it. I was hoping we'd go all the whole show without that daggone word, but it's a
Well,
hobby, and we're going to deal with it.
this is just something that I'm messing with. When it's over with, I'm gonna try to get the executioner as an actual RTR or a kit in mass production.
No,
I'm
really.
going to attempt to get that. I just don't know if I have the capital to make it happen. But anyway, once we get past all this, which we will, then
Yeah,
we
we
will
will.
move along and I'll see about getting back on it. But
Yeah.
anyway, I do got to go. I got to make a phone call.
Joe, thank you. Sorry
All
for
right, buddy.
taking up so much of your time, brother. Because I know with all the stuff that you're doing, you're a busy man, and it's taken us, like you said, a few months to get this done. I appreciate you, brother. I really do. You keep on keeping on, and thank you. I
All right,
really
buddy.
appreciate it. And make sure you tell Keone I wasn't kidding about him coming on and being interviewed too, if he would like to. You know, I
Oh,
know
yeah.
he must have been busy today or something because
I
I
think he's
like
going
that
to come
show
out.
that y'all did where it was both of y'all on there, and he was picking at you
Yeah.
a little bit, and you was picking at him a little bit, and then
Did you
then
watch
y'all
all the way
ganged
to
up
the
on the
very
other
end?
guy.
Did you watch all the way to the very end?
Well, now was that the one where y'all were sitting there in the studio? I think I did. Why? What I missed?
At the very end of that, he does this thing like this. And I said, what was that for? And I actually said it, and I left it on camera. I left it on there. Is that the whole two in the pink, one of the state?
Yes, I did. I did see that. Yes, I
I'm
did.
like,
Okay.
okay, I guess I'll leave that on there. It was at the very end,
Yeah.
but
That was a good one, man. I like Keone. He's got a way of putting stuff that gets, like I said, it gets through these ears and into the squishy stuff between them that, you know, a lot of people have a hard time from being able to explain something to me and me understand it or me at the same way. Well, Joe, thank you. You have a good one. Be safe. Y'all have fun down there. And Ark is going to be on here Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday on the podcast. We're going to do an interview Ark Park and check out Wreckfest and see what he's got going on.
sounds good to me, buddy.
Hey, brother, be straight out there and keep safe and keep inspiring us all the way you have, man. And keep doing
keep
the good
trying.
content you do. And heck, even putting out bad content, we'll still watch it. Like I said, you're a good hype man, bro.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Right.
Guys, thank y'all in the comments. Peace out, Girl Scouts. And if I don't see you for mating season, you know what to do. Y'all be good.
Right, guys, you all have a good one, and thank you for the comments and questions and all that stuff. Tech is awesome. So I'll see you in the morning,
Waffles,
5 o'clock.
Urban, Nas, Granny, all y'all, all my mofo family, nothing stock, all y'all, Psycho, Denny Mama,